Diddy in 5. He coming home. He coming home. They didn't drop some of the charges against him because they couldn't prove. Like they dropped kidnapping, they dropped some of the sex trafficking shit, and it was something else. We'll get into it in a minute. He coming home though. He is. Um, I was compared to Diddy today, and I was shocked initially because I'm like, you reaching. But since it was said, I'll delve into it. Well, I think the main thing she was talking about, well, no, she compared to Diddy, but as talking to Diddy, she was saying that Diddy was rich. I ain't rich. He was paying for prostitutes, but he actually wasn't paying for prostitutes. The girls was paying for the prostitutes. And them niggas even saying they wasn't selling sex. They was paid for their time. They was like consultants. So yeah, they was having sex for free. So there's that. Joy and I, we didn't live together or in the same state. So sex was few and far in between, and I definitely wasn't paying nobody to fuck her. It's amazing to me. I ain't even mad, but it's amazing how you keep my name alive. You just threw, like when you have to say, y'all follow me here, when you say some outlandish shit, you know you said some outlandish shit. That's why you're telling the people to follow you. But okay, you said that the women were manipulated. I could give you Cassie because she was 19 and that was her boss. I could give you she got manipulated. But Daphne Joy, the second one, 50 Cent baby mama, she was used to dealing with rich niggas. So how could she get manipulated? How? Just how? If she had to just not talk to Diddy, she would have made $60,000 in child support for 50 cents per year. Diddy, for the 3 years they was together, gave her $50,000 a year. She wasn't manipulated. She was freaky and she wanted to do that shit. So I'm just debating your points on that. But now I need you to stop misrepresenting me, ma'am. I have said any goddamn time anybody asked me that I love Joy, I had feelings for her, the relationship is real. I don't know why it's not going through your cerebellum that, because you kept saying, well, he ain't like her. It was a business arrangement. No, it wasn't, ma'am. My first time talking to Joy, I was hollering at her. It wasn't talking about no fucking YouTube shit. I was hollering at her. But I was doing YouTube already. I was already toxic masculinity. We was already doing lives talking our shit. So it wasn't a business arrangement because business was already going. But what I did do when I met her is I was encouraging her to go live. It was like, you don't be going live. Why you don't go live? Like everybody's going live. That's the wave right now. Why you not going live? It wasn't to be on my shit. It was just to get her going live because I had seen some of her uploads and I'm like, okay, do that shit live. But for the 10th time, Monica, it wasn't a fake relationship. The engagement was fake. Now, before a fake engagement, there was a relationship. The relationship continued, but the engagement was fake, ma'am. I don't know why. So I don't understand the parallel. I guess you were saying Diddy always had other women and I always had other women, so it wasn't real. Ma'am, you do realize there's open relationships where there's people and other people involved and they love each other. There's polyamorous relationships where there's other people and they love each other. So I don't know why you want to point at my old relationship and be like, well, there wasn't no love there because he was talking to other bitches. Now, I don't know too much about the you and Chico situation, but are you meaning to tell me Chico didn't love you, the other woman? He ain't love both of y'all at the same time. Is that what you're saying? Because you told this story. You know how it go. So you saying you didn't have feelings for Chico and the other girl didn't have feelings for Chico. Somebody make sure Monica hears the beginning of this. Somebody go tell her the beginning part of this live is about her. I ain't cussing or nothing. I'm not mad. I understand, but it's like, God damn, really, you could just ask me to come over and do one of your crime and justice videos with you. And the person in Florida that you talking about is YNW Melly, ma'am. You can't be covering cases and not know who you're talking about. I covered that first trial too, the mistrial. I covered that. But yeah, that's who you was talking about, YNW Melly. But no, there was yeah, you gotta stop. I don't know why. You definitely misrepresenting the relationship. That's for one. You definitely misrepresenting the relationship, but whatever. But yeah, you ain't got to do no stretches like that to get my attention. And I don't even know how I got over there. I think I seen John Frank or somebody share it, and then I was listening and I was hearing you say that you, from your perspective, you was watching the shit unfold and how Head Mahead was speaking up, and you was like, apparently Joy had to be given the green light, saying it's okay. So I was listening to that part, and then I was shocked when I heard Diddy. I was like, what the fuck? Where did Diddy come from? I'm Diddy. I'm Diddy. She said, the Diddy trial reminds me of Joy. I was like, how? How? I just like, if you just say you mad that I put the video up, just say that. But Diddy, really, I ain't did nothing close to no damn freak off with Joy or nobody. I done had some threesomes, but my threesomes didn't go like his freak offs. I wasn't looking at no niggas fuck my bitch or even fuck the bitch that I was finna fuck. That's you call that toss. And then both of y'all fucking, like when the one nigga getting their dick sucked, the other nigga fucking. Diddy was just jacking off while they was having sex. He wasn't participating in none of that. And then he was getting the man cum scooped on him. So I'm offended by the reference. And you was reaching, but no harm, no foul. But god damn, like really, really, is that what? It's funny you was talking about what people do for clicks and views and all of this shit, and then you compare me to Diddy in the same live where you was saying, man, these folk be doing some outlandish shit, because I think you said you was talking about the Joy community post being outlandish and it was for attention, and saying, man, I can't do, but ma'am, you compare the Diddy situation where he was whooping hoes, getting them full of dope, and fuck it all over the country. They just fucked it like 3 states. I think Arkansas, Vegas, Nevada, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi. We ain't fucking like 4 states. You overstated the shit an awful lot, man. It's just, yeah. But again, when you had to say, y'all follow me, you know you're doing too much. But I'm just saying, I'm Diddy now, y'all. Fuck it. I just got it's the free promo for me. I don't even have to be doing nothing. But then I tried. I know the time still. I forgot where I stopped it. You kind of turned me off around that part. Cause you could tell where I got triggered when I went on and typed. Because the first time I just said, when you said I did it, I laughed and said you reaching. But then when you tried to actually say how this woman older than me, how the fuck I manipulate her? And so you saying your friend got manipulated? I don't know. She ain't get manipulated. Your friend a freak too. That's why she got 4 kids just like me. We both like fucking. That's understood. I got more baby mamas than she got baby daddies, but we both like fucking. It is what it is. All right, 9:37 a.m. it begins. Yesterday they had a whole bunch of arguments about what should be in the charge and instructions and shit of that nature. I don't feel like reading it because it's really not important. This is what's important. This lady finna be I don't know. It took me about 15 minutes to scroll up, so this is gonna take a minute. Good morning. We emailed the charge to the parties. It's not in the docket yet. My niggas stay saying that. But there are still some times government is capitalized. We'll change that in an instruction about witness. There should be no disruptions during closings, no objections and nothing. I'll tell the jurors that it will be a shorter day today, longer tomorrow, and during deliberations, it will be up to them. Ms. Slavic will be here at 10 to deliver the closing. There are some italics we want out. Okay. Break to 10. What the fuck? You had to go. You didn't have to start tweeting that. While we wait, Miss Comey, do we have the laptop ready? I'll defer to Miss Garagos. Tanae Garagos. We'll have it ready tomorrow with only the admitted exhibits. I ask tomorrow. Let's get our jury. Give your attention to the parties' closing arguments. Today will be shorter, the U.S. closings. Tomorrow, the defense, the rebuttal, my instructions, and begin deliberations. The jurors who will stay. And Slavic begins. Over the past few weeks, you've learned that Sean Combs is the leader of a criminal organization. He doesn't take no for an answer. He's into kidnapping, arson, forced labor, bribery of a security officer, and the brutal crimes of sex trafficking. Consider 2 moments. March 16th at the Intercontinental Hotel. The defendant got violent with Cassie. You saw what happened. He dragged her back to the freak off. 2024 at Jane's house. Daphne, Joy. The defendant choked and hit her. She ran, couldn't get away. She did get away though. She said she was outside for hours. These are chapters in the same book. The defendant counted on silence and shame. He thought his fame and wealth and power put him above the law. Over the last 7 weeks, you've heard how he used his staff to promote his power. No one could stop him. We'll talk about RICO, including sex trafficking and transportation for prostitution, which are also separately charged as standalone crimes. You may have heard of racketeers. When someone commits crime as part of a group, they are more dangerous. A group of people whose purpose was to serve and protect the defendant. It's his kingdom. Everyone was there to serve him, fulfilling all of his desires, including his sexual desires. We need to show at least 2 racketeering crimes. The defendant was head of the Combs enterprise. There was an inner circle, his chief of staff, and his bodyguards. The names changed, but the roles remain the same. You've heard about KK, Combs' right brain. She lived in 2-star. She communicated with the defendant's girlfriends, his security. You heard their names. D-Rock, Bonds, Rube, Uncle Polly, Fahim. They were armed and ready. And you notice who name we don't hear ever mentioned in this trial? Gene Deal. Gene Deal tells stories recalling some of these niggas that was named, but Gene Deal's name was never brought up in this fucking trial. And it's for a good reason. Because all the stories he was telling, he told them folk, hey, I will testify. I will be a government witness. And they didn't want to fuck with him. His name was never brought up. That's very telling. They were armed and ready. Remember the incidents at the diner with Suge Knight? Dave James told you Combs had guns. In the search, law enforcement found guns, including the rifle with the serial number defaced. In LA, 2 AR-15s with their serial numbers cut out in the defendant's closet. You also had a rotating cast of assistants paid by the defendant's business. Brendan Paul said he made $100,000 a year. KK made 6 times that. When your boss asks you to buy drugs, you're committing a crime. When you kidnap someone or locked his girlfriend in a hotel room after your boss stumped on his face or her face, it's a crime. The law does not require us to know that they like committing these crimes. You saw KK chiding the defendant to not be so reckless, but she got him cash, drugs. She was a member of the enterprise. It impacted interstate commerce. Minimal is fine. This is a one-man RICO. KK didn't testify either. Combs knowingly became a member. He was the boss. He was the through line. The racketeering acts, distribution of drugs. He didn't distribute drugs to nobody. It was for him and his girlfriend. That's not distribution. That's personal use. Now, if Puff Daddy was on the block selling packs, then that's distribution. None of the security guards was taking the drugs and selling it to their homeboys, and Diddy wasn't selling it to none of them. They have now. He coming home, y'all. You know what I'm saying? He coming home. Kidnapping, arson, bribery, facilitating sex trafficking of Cassie and Daphne Joy, forced labor, travel for commercial sex, cover up. You only need to find that someone will commit 2 acts in any of these categories. It could be 2 acts of drug distribution. Y'all hadn't proved he distributed any drugs. In fact, y'all proved that these folk was getting high on their own without him. Y'all proved that he got mad at one of her homegirls because she was getting her drugs. That's what y'all proved. It could be 2 acts of drug distribution, 1 kidnapping, just 2. You have far more than 2. Let's start with drugs, an essential ingredient of freak-offs. He asked them hoes, can you do freak-offs without being high? That's what he asked them. They just can. Why is their use of drugs his fault? I'm sorry. Again, I don't know what ketamine is, but if Diddy offered it to me, I would say no, because I don't know what it is. Now, ecstasy and Molly, I'm familiar with those. If Diddy offered me cocaine, I don't do that. I'm fine. I'm not doing anything that I don't want to do. And it didn't seem like there was no marijuana anywhere involved. Like, do these niggas not smoke weed? That is the key ingredient to all of my missions. Weed. Fuck alcohol, fuck everything else. We need weed. But this is asinine. The most involved were D-Rock, KK, and Fahim, but others helped keep the drug supply high. We are not talking about marijuana, see, but what Brendan Paul called hard drugs. These are stipulations of the drugs found in the searches. See, like even I wouldn't take no liquid Molly because I don't know what the fuck that is. They just did too much. Cocaine, meth, oxycontin, ketamine, a dissociative drug, GHB, which is Molly. Ecstasy, mushrooms. Okay, shrooms, Molly. That's powder form too. So I never did that. It's just I did ecstasy, but I knew what Molly and GHB and shit was. Tusi, nope. A combination of dyed pink is 1305 and 1306. Adderall, took it one time, said that's not for me. Was sleep, I'm good. The quantities are not relevant. It's not an element of this crime. Distribution does not require a sale. You know the names of the drug dealers by now. Guido, One Stop, Baby girl. Jane told you that on 2 occasions she was told to bring drugs when she flew to meet him. She coordinated with KK. It's corroborated by text messages. Them drugs was for her though. That's why she brought them, because she was gonna get high off of them. KK told Jane to swing by Mapleton to pick up the Guido package. He was called during hotel night, so we know what the Guido package was. More ecstasy. The security team knew what it was. Guido text for Hank. Puff has a 450 balance with me. Brendan Paul asked for $780 for personal Gucci items, that is, hard drugs. Drugs were distributed. No, they weren't. It doesn't matter. He wasn't buying kilos or selling them. Personal use is just a distraction. They bought and distributed to people around them. To person. It was two. Was the sex worker too? But ma'am, that's indeed. You ain't gonna find nobody in the jury room who understands how Hollywood works that's gonna consider that distribution of drugs. The hard press. He coming home, y'all. Cassie used drugs at every freak off surprised by the defendant. He introduced Jane to drugs. What? So she had never done drugs. Just like Cassie had never sucked dick before Puffy. She had sex, but she never sucked dick before Puffy. He introduced her to oral sex. He introduced Jane to drugs, gave them to her at all but one hotel night. He gave drugs to Kerry Morgan and Bana Bonolin. He made Brendan Paul try Tusi to see if it was good. He didn't make him do it. He did it because he wanted to. He liked it as well. He could have just said no and lost his job, and then he could have went and told everybody, this nigga fired me because I didn't want to be his drug mule. D-Rock would text One Stop, need to see someone for bro. That is, the defendant. Guido asked for him to cover the defendant's drug debt. KK knew he was distributing drugs to the women for the Wild King nights. Jane told KK she was having a bad come down. I thought distributing meant you were selling. So now it's just giving it to him. So if you gave it to him, you distributed. All right. KK gives pro tips how to deal with it, plain and simple. This is drug distribution. How about kidnappings? They committed them under both California and New York law. Consider Cassie. Bun made her stay put. The defendant called Cassie a slut. He slapped her on the face. She was disfigured. Roger Bunch caught her and brought her back. The defendant made her go to the London hotel on Sunset so no one saw her. She wanted to go home to her mom. But no. It's clear Cassie did not consent to staying in the London hotel. David James testified the defendant demanded to see his search history if he had posted that the defendant assaulted Cassie at the club. Then there's Capricorn Clark. They made her take a lie detector test for days in an empty office building in Manhattan. This is in 2004. She was holding expensive jewelry that went missing. Uncle Paulie took her to the future headquarters of Bad Boy. She was tested for 5 lies. The man administering the test told her if she failed, she'd end up in the East River. In Central Park, the defendant told her if anything happened, he'd have to kill her. David James remembers this. He was tested too to get the rat out of the team. In December 2011, Rube helped the defendant kidnap Capricorn Clark. It started on December 22nd, 2011. The defendant banged on Capricorn's door with a gun. He was out for revenge. He barked an order at Capricorn. Get dressed. We're going to kill Cuddy. And she went. Everybody know if a nigga tell, I don't give a fuck who it is. If that nigga is not holding you at gunpoint and he tell you to ride with you to go kill somebody, You don't go because you're an accessory. Nope. Bro, you better kidnap me. You're gonna have to kidnap me, fool. No. And because I know that you was finna go kill somebody and you was trying to take me, I might actually have to call the police so they won't ask me why you didn't call the police then. Because that's the question they always ask on the first 48 when the nigga be like, I ain't even know fool. Like, well, he told me, but why you didn't call the police? So I might have to call the police if you tell me that you was gonna go kill somebody and you want me to ride with you and I decline. You're gonna have to kidnap me. And then if you don't kidnap me and you leave me there, I'm probably gonna call the police just so I can have it off my record. So I ain't had nothing to do with this shit. Beforehand, afterhand, nothing. I told. They drove to Kid Cudi's house. The defendant had a gun in his lap. This was kidnapping. He moved her a substantial distance. The defendant said he wouldn't let her, told her until she brought him Cassie, who he kicked when she arrived into a fetal position. Cassie, who was with Kid Cudi that morning, testified with this. The officer who responded to the 911 call, he saw a black Escalade registered to Bad Boy. Then on January 12th, 2012, the defendant had Kid Cudi car set on fire. Arson. Someone could have. Y'all didn't prove it was him, though. This is bullshit. And the defense just got to listen to this shit. They can't say nothing till it's their time to talk tomorrow, which is fucked up because she's saying a bunch of bullshit right now. And it's some trafficking charges and shit being dropped, but she's still saying this shit like we got him dead to rights on this. Okay, we're not suggesting the defendant cut the hole. He didn't even buy his own suit. You heard the voice notes. He said he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Oh, he was just talking shit. What are the odds? He says that it happened. The car didn't blow up. The coincidences just keep on coming. The defendant and Rube just happened to be there a few weeks before. Kid Cudi was driving the same Porsche the night of the trespass. What are the odds? Astronomical. Kid Cudi had conflicts with no one except the defendant. Then D-Rock brought Kid Cudi to the defendant, who was looking like a Marvel supervillain. Years later, the defendant apologized to Kid Cudi. Then there's Bribery, the 2016 video. The defendant was having a freak off with Cassie and one of the escort's jewels. Flores found the defendant sitting in a chair with what he called the devilish stare. In the room, he saw another man. The defendant tried to hand Flores a stack of money. It was his first attempt at a bribe that day. As Cassie leaves, Combs starts damage control. We had a power issue. Is your mic working? Yes. He called Cassie over a dozen times. The text, call me, cops are here. He was just manipulating her, but the defendant knew he could be arrested. There was video of the assault. He went and banged on Cassie's door with a hammer. Neighbors were going to call the police. They did, in fact, go. Kerry Morgan had the LAPD card. KK suggests, say they had a fun drunk night. She calls and reaches Eddie Garcia. Eddie says no. Then KK shows up in person. He won't show her, but says off the record, it's bad. KK has the defendant call Eddie on his personal cell phone. Once Eddie says his boss will do it for $50,000. So how is he being charged for bribery here when dude boss is the one that offered money? He asked for money and Diddy just said I pay it. That's not bribery. He offered it, he paid it, he bought the video. Like they doing a terrible job proving their case. The defendant calls him Eddie my angel. That's how he saved his cell phone. Eddie goes to deliver the USB. D-Rock and KK are there. The defendant counted out dollar by dollar the bribe. Eddie told you the security guard told him he came with the defendant. That was D-Rock. Eddie asked the defendant, what if Cassie calls police? So the defendant knew. Eddie finds the ID of stand-in for Flores. NDAs are signed. Don't speak to anyone. But they could speak if it was a crime that occurred. For those asking, during this closing, Sean Combs had his chair pushed way back from the defense table and is looking around. Paying for silence is influencing testimony. In their opening, the defense suggested the two are connected. The next racketeering predicate is sex trafficking. Defendants' inner circle assisted, whether they wanted to or not, threats, drugs, lies, and illegal violence to make them have sex with escorts. This is not an attempt to criminalize dysfunctional relationship or personal sexual behavior. It actually is. Y'all saying this man's life was too freaky. They did not want to have sex with strangers while the defendant masturbated. They were covered in oil and sore over. Man, they did want it though. They text. You got text messages where they said they wanted it, ma'am. They set the shit up. They liked it. I'm sorry it ruined your case and Diddy coming home, but it is what it is. Them hoes like this shit. We are not asking you to find that every hotel night or freak off with sex trafficking, or even the majority. You only need to find the elements were met one time, one freak off. That's it. He's guilty, but it was way more than once. Shall we say that the Diddy parties were overrated? The Diddy parties wasn't nothing compared to the freak-offs, because I don't think nobody knew he was getting down like this in the freak-offs except for I don't even think the staff knew it was niggas in there. KK might have knew, but I don't think the security guard in them knew it was other niggas in the room. Fucking Cassie and them. I don't think they knew that. That's awkward. Let's start with Jane. Turn off the public screens. Combs still has his chair passed back from defense table at which David Exonerson and Alexandra Shapiro have their chins in their hands. Consider this sobriety party and in Jane's house. Let's start with the love bombing stage. Jane was head over heels. They traveled to the Caribbean. Dr. Hughes knew about this. She never met with any witnesses, but it was like she knew them. Love bombing is a tactic. He was grooming her. He would groom a 45-year-old woman. Get the fuck out of here. He gave Jane ecstasy. Now keep in mind, Jane, baby mama, is 50 Cent. She has been around industry niggas before. 50 Cent probably wasn't even the first industry nigga she talked to. So she's used to this shit. She got groomed. Ma'am, she been in this life for like the past decade. What the fuck are you talking about? And again, when y'all arrested that nigga, that bitch was there. Y'all was pulling out his stripper heels and shit. That was her stuff y'all pulled out the closet. Oh my goodness. He gave Jane ecstasy. She fell to the ground convulsing. The defendant liked baby oil and red lights. He probably had TLC playing. Then introduced in May 2021, she wanted to please her partner. She was high. The defendant had a freak off set up the very night. An escort came. But she wanted it. She wanted it. Jane was excited by that first experience. She didn't realize she had opened Pandora's box. So it became 90% of their relationship for a while. She went along. Then she told him she wanted it to stop. There are texts about this. Jane wrote, I want to do things outside these rooms to travel with you. The defendant ignored Jane. Nigga, this is a bitch that wanted to be seen in public. She was like, hey, I want to be seen in public with you. Yes, they did do, but she just, I don't know. She wanted the spotlight. She wanted to be Young Miami now. I want to do things outside these rooms to travel with you. The defendant ignored Jane's discomfort. These hotel nights were not about what Jane wanted. They were about what the defendant wanted to see. He decided how long. Jane said if she was going to have sex with strange men, she should choose which. The defendant made her ask them for nude. For how the fuck he make her ask? These were not for her. When she asked to use condoms, the defendant was not happy. He was dismissive and condescending. She would try to have it go faster. He ordered her to slow down. It was about what he wanted. He dangled carrots. He gave her gifts and money. He lied to her, and that's where's the crime and what this lady's describing? Seriously, where's the crime? Can somebody point out the crime there? Is this what we're doing? Hold on. What the hell am I doing here? Okay. I was looking at something else, y'all. Hold on. Let me take a sip. He lied to her repeatedly. She asked, when are we doing a getaway? He said they'd go on a yacht, but didn't. Oh, here's what Jane wrote in her notes app. I don't want to have you use me to fulfill your freaky wild desires in hotel rooms. He used this payment of her rent as leverage. The carrot turned into a stick. She wrote the threats, and innuendo are nonstop. So basically what you telling me is this bitch didn't want to go get no job, so she fucked random niggas. And it's Diddy fault that he knew this bitch didn't want to go get no job. Because if he dangled the rent over her head, she simply would have had to get up out that spot, and she would have had to get a job and get something she could afford. She didn't necessarily have to get a job. She forget some 60,000 that she was getting from 50. It's 5,000 a month. So yeah, she probably had to get a job living in LA. But she chose to suck dick from random niggas and she chose to participate in freak offs rather than get a regular job. That's what you telling us. She spent time away from her child to suck random niggas' dick instead of get a job. That's what you telling us. He paid for her veneers because he didn't like her teeth, then said, look at the roof over her head and your pretty mouth and teeth. He wanted the all-star party, sex with 3 men. She sent him a photo of her period blood. He sent this voice note. I'm about to really disappear on you. I don't have no time for this, baby girl. You got me on my job. Oh, that is not in context, ma'am. That is not in context. He sent that after they had got through arguing and shit. And he was like, you ghosted me. He ain't sent that because she sent him pictures of her on her period and he wanted to be in a freak off. Oh my goodness. I know the defense is livid right now and they can't say shit. He sent this voice note. I'm about to really disappear on you. I don't have no time for this, baby girl. You got me on my job. You got to get on your job. The message couldn't be clearer. Not going to take no for an answer. No, he actually said, well, like, shit, you need to let me know, like, are we moving on with each other? That's what he was saying. Like, I ain't got time for this shit. Like, if you ain't with it no more, let me know and we can move the fuck on past each other. For those asking, Slavic is looking down and reading her closing statement from a binder on the lectern. After reading Cassie's lawsuit, Jane writes to the defendant, I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. 2 of my birthdays, you forced me. You gaslit me. It was sexual exploitation. And she wrote that for the lawsuit she knew that she was going to end up having. The defendant called her and tried to trick her into saying it was all consented to. He fed her a false narrative. Listen to this clip. He talked over her. Dr. Hughes told you how a victim is trauma bonded to her abuser. Jane often felt the defendant didn't listen to the truth. She said Sean would say just to move on. He told her to charge him, that lawyers would be involved to buy her silence. So she asked for $100,000 a year for her to move on. She thought it was reasonable, far less than Cassie. The defendant went ballistic. She refused to adopt her false narrative. You can read the text message. We can't, they ain't on the screen. Jane wrote the defendant was going to show her sex tapes to the father of her child, 50 Cent. Then he reached out and told her to come see him in Miami. She makes it clear she doesn't want a hotel night. He says, okay, despite his promise, he called an escort. But she ain't had to suck dick, though. She could have just went home. She could have called her baby daddy to come beat Diddy up. 50 knows she was freaky. He ain't shocked. Here are more threats about the rent. Jane writes, I hate worrying about the rent. This is in 2024. It all culminated in June 2024. He assaulted her and forced her to perform oral sex on an escort. This is sex trafficking. It was interstate and the Astroglide cross straight. The Astroglide is being, wait a goddamn minute. The Astroglide got rights. So Astroglide is being treated like a drug in this gent. Fuck the human being. The Astroglide crossed state lines, not the human that was fucking, not the actual person that committed the prostitution. The Astroglide crossed state lines and it was interstate. I guess they saying he had so much in taxes and things of that nature. They got real technical on him. I know I just made a joke about the Astroglide, but that's what they're trying to do. He had so much of it, they were saying he could have been trying to circumvent paying taxes from this place because it may be higher over here than it is here, so he banned it and do it. No different than I could go to Mississippi right now and buy some cigarettes, but I can't buy too many because if I buy too many, I'm breaking the law. The defendant knew or recklessly disregarded that force. Threats of force, coercion, or fraud were used. Consenting once doesn't mean she consented every time. One time is enough. In 2023, he made Jane feel she'd have a proper New York City weekend, but invited escorts. Jane sent him another message. It's dark and sleazy. In fear of losing my home. His response, girl, stop. Then he FaceTimed her and told her about stopping and dinner. Girl, stop. He lied. Look, he is also texting Paul Arthur, an escort. Look at the messages. He's setting up a hotel night. When she's in the air, he tells her he has a surprise for her. She didn't want it. That before the plane even lands is a completed act of sex trafficking. He tricked her. Who was trafficked? Her or the male? I'm confused who would be the traffic party in this one. Because when she touched down in LA or wherever the fuck she was at, and She seen it was an escort there and she ain't want to fuck. She could have left. Her baby daddy stay in NYC. I just wonder why Diddy didn't ever use the private jet. Like he had her flying a lot of motherfucking commercial flights instead of just cranking up the bad boy jet or the Revolt TV jet or something. Like he was really, I don't know. He tricked her. Then under coercion, she calls Cabral to come to New York. In the next text, she says, in NYC, I knew you would pair me up with a random person. In the sobriety party without drugs, she is so disgusted she vomits. She writes, I'm not a porn star. I'm not an animal. I need a break. I need a break. The defendant responds, let's spend the day. No strangers. She replies, you'll love bumming. But she did it though. He switches from carrot to stick. The house he texts, are you going to let me into our house? 8 times. Then he said he was sick and needed her. She went and had sex with 3 different men without drugs. After vomit, he said, get back out there. In Jane's house, 3 months after Homeland Security agents searched the defendant's home, they used Jane's house. He came there. They were supposed to have a fun date night. They drank and argued. She puts his head into the counter. Diddy was like, I don't give a fuck about the police, man. I'm still trying to be freaky. Diddy like, I'm still trying to be freaky. I don't give a fuck about these charges. The fuck? They ain't find nothing. Just a little Astro Glide and baby oil. A little pink Tootsie. They were supposed to have a fun date night. They drank and argued. She pushed his head into the counter. He shouted her. She told him to leave. She ran and closed doors. He kicked down 3 doors. You saw the doors. Here's one of them. Screens are still off for no reason. She ran without shoes. She hid. He was waiting. She assaulted him. And it was probably a marble countertop. Jane hit the defendant. He punched her in the face. So what the fuck? He dragged her by the hair back into the house. Jane took his phone, called the other woman. So in the midst of the fight they having, she wants his phone so she could call the other bitches. She wanted to call the other bitches in the middle of her having her ass beat. She didn't want to call the police. Nope. She didn't want to call TMZ, World Star, her mama, nobody. She wanted to call the other bitches in the middle of getting her ass whooped. What are we doing here? She said, Jane took his phone, called the other woman. She shouted. The defendant called Jonathan Perez. He followed her into the shower and hit her, knocked her down. He called Anton, the escort, and told her to have sex with him. She put on makeup to hide her injuries. They drove to pick up Anton. She drove to pick up Anton at the gate. Then the defendant said, take this fucking pill. Diddy let her in the car to go pick up Anton at the gate. She could have drove past Anton and just drove and went to the police station and showed the black eye and all of that. But she didn't. She went and sucked dick. She picked the nigga up and sucked some dick. I did. He coming home, y'all. He put his face inches from her and asked, is this coercion? He was brazenly acknowledging he was breaking the very same law he violated before. Jane didn't want to have sex with the escort that night. She said no, but he wouldn't take no as an answer. Jane performed oral sex until Antoine ejaculated. The defendant told his security to bring cash to Antoine. They didn't have it. The next day, he gave Jane the money to pay Antoine. She Ubered the bag of money over to him. This was coercion. Whatever. At the appropriate time, let's break for lunch. This would be a fine time. Okay, jurors, you may go eat. All right, stay on break. I'm finna take a break too. Give me a second. I'll play some musical stylings while I'm on break.
That raw freestyle.
Hood news. Dandada.
We sit sideways. You can catch me sitting sideways. It's something pretty with the ratchet on me. I stay strapped because I always keep a package on me. Dirty, you get serious niggas die here. Y'all niggas had it up to now. This is my year. I'm dirty, moving coke through the turnpike. These niggas call me Michael Jackson cause they know the dawn turned white. I live the goon's life and move with the moonlight. 100 bricks in the dark will turn the room white. Greenville, yeah, we grinding around here, sitting sideways with guns assault the diamond cartels. Step your swag up, I only move with smart dudes. And my trap pump more than your heart do. Fish scale, yeah, I'm scarred for life. I'm slanging bricks in the jungle, I got a Tarzan price. Plus the money longer than the vines he swing on. While y'all niggas breaking buds, we cutting bells with the chainsaw. Dirty, that's the clip when the cop man carbon 15. I go drums than a rock band. Riding the drop man, I got plenty raw. White on white being the same color as some dinner floss. Fuck fat fish scale, boo the big fish. I'm so bready, you can call my money fish sticks. You can catch me sitting sideways and something pretty with the ratchet on me. I stay strapped cause I always keep a package on me. Dirty, you get serious niggas die here. Y'all niggas had it up to now. This is my year. Okay. I'm dirty and my eyes sitting real low. And the coupe doors up like I just kicked the field goal. And hop off in the Tahoe. I blow so much color purple, you can call me Hypo. Y'all niggas can't get close to the dawn. Yeah, I got more straps than your mom stole to the dogs. Bloody daughter make the fatal, homie. If I kill you, only way they find you is they gotta cut a couple gators open. I've been gangster since I've been born. And these pussies niggas phonier than a 3-cent coin. I'm up in the game. I blow your fucking head off. Chopper so big that I can pull my fucking leg off. Sitting sideways. I gotta kill the track. I swear that daughter got my white the opposite of black. This game been mine, and y'all trying to get it back. And plus, I love all y'all haters shit. Opposite of track, and I got a red flag, and I got a red hoe, and I'm grinding off in China, so I'm getting red dough. Fuck a little beaner, gotta whip a red roll, in the inside Rudolph, outside red nose. I keep talking money, you heard, I'm dead rich. They mean I got more fish and bread than Jesus fed with. You can catch me sitting sideways. It's something pretty with the ratchet on me. I stay strapped, so I always keep a package on me. Dirty, you get serious niggas die here. Y'all niggas had it up to now. This is my year. Okay, homie. Dirty. Now shit's about to get wicked. And bullets jumping out the chopper like some motherfucking crickets. Greenville, that's my home, nigga, Dirty Hill. Ain't nothing for a nigga to get murdered here. I'm moving quick fast for this quick cash and keep a package on me like a nigga with a shit bag. Fresh out of jail, so the Don joined the Conway. Hit the runway and hollered fam off in Conway. This the Don way, matter of fact the Don day. And I only move 2 blocks like a pawn play. This my day off and don't feel like touching nothing. But I got some cocaine that's jumping like she double dutching. You can catch me sitting sideways. Something pretty with the ratchet on me. I stay strapped because I always keep a package on me. Every day, they get serious niggas die here. Y'all niggas had it up to now. This is my year. Kill my gonna let me do this.
Yeah. Done check him out.
Fuck, somebody put me on that smiling and got me blushing, got me giggling.
All right. Are you ready? Just to flag for the court, we're going to need to change PowerPoints. Can we turn the public screens on? My nigga said apparently not. You may proceed. Let's go back. The 3 nights were part of a build-up from fraud to coercion to finally force. I apologize. Do you need to change the batteries? Beep. Miss Slavic, do you need batteries? Double A. Comb still with chair pushed back, now legs crossed, hands crossed. The house was just an example of defendant's financial coercion of Jane, also drugs. That came a necessary part of sex. Jane told you about Miami in 2024. He gave her liquid Molly. They showed you the video. They'll argue that she was super into it, but she was super high. His coercion, he was super high too. Both of them was getting high together. His coercion included threats to release tapes of her having sex in the hotel rooms. Combs threatened to send tape. Oh, that's another parallel she made too. She said, I threatened Joy to shut up or I will put them out. Yes, and I ain't tell her behind the scenes. I didn't reach out to her until I publicly told her, shut the fuck up, leave me alone. I did. See, he did it behind the scenes. She made a decision to fuck around and find out. But this is what it is. Combs threatened to send sex tapes to Jane's child's father. This was to coerce her into more So in order to not get 50 Cent to see one tape, she created more tapes. That just doesn't make any sense at all. The defense has suggested that Jane agreed to these hotel nights. Let's talk about what agreeing means. Theirs is an incomplete picture. Let's turn to volume 2. We're going to talk about Cassie with several examples. You know from sitting through this trial that force was not limited to these days. Through the decade together, he forced her to have sex with escorts. Cassie was 19. He was in his late 20s. But yeah, she didn't start doing the freak offs to 21. He signed her to a 10-year record deal. He took her on a yacht and gave her ecstasy. They had sex. They were in a relationship. She had just turned 21. The defendant was her boss who called all the shots. He molded her. He told Capricorn, let me show you. Then ordered Cassie around. She did it. Walk and turn around. Total compliance. He didn't take no for an answer. He was abusive physically, emotionally, psychologically, sexually. They want you to call this domestic violence. But he was forcing her to have freak-offs. He controlled everything. He demanded that her nails be done a certain way on red carpets. The Vanity Fair party in 2014. Deontay Nash told you, he shouted. Combs shouted, I thought I told y'all she had to have her hair up. He wouldn't let her make money from her music. She was offered the chance to do a Common video. Puff said no. He paid for her car, clothing, phones, and vacation. He made her dependent. He did it to her family too. After he found out she was with Kid Cudi, he demanded $20,000 from her parent to pay him back, or he'd release sex tape. That month, in just this account, he had $3.2 million coming in and out. This was about control. Remember what Dr. Hughes said, when a victim is on unsure footing, the abuser has control. He punched her, kicked her, dragged her. When it was bad, he hid her at hotels to heal and not be seen. You saw photos and video. D-Rock, Rude, Paulie, they knew. I'm going to just say, because all these women excuses are, They believe he got people at the police station on payroll. Go to the federal building. Go past the police and go to the federal building and file your report there. So that but he ain't got reach at the federal level. Now nobody they ain't got to reach at the federal level. So go there. But just sitting there taking it, that ain't excuse no more. Sorry. He attacked her for attending a Prince party until Prince's security intervened. Mia and Maya Morales described abuse to you. Cassie told you when she got to the house, he threatened to release the sex tapes. He assaulted her in Jamaica. He beat her up in Las Vegas while she was curled up under the toilet. She said D-Rock cried. There was his assault at the Intercontinental Hotel caught on tape. For Cassie, it was her normal. She was there when he attacked Mia, Devontae Nash, and Bonner. Bonner may have gotten the date wrong, but she was injured. One time, he has Cassie hold guns for him. The Diner and Suge Knight incident, Cassie was in the house. He saw. Why didn't she leave? Miss Hughes explained that hitting leads to fear. Even when Cassie was in South Africa, she could not get away. Kept calling. D-Rock was loyal only to the defendant. He played both sides. He talked to Cassie, then reported it back to the defendant. She about to ice up. I told her to chill out. They met for dinner in Malibu. Then he raped her on the living room floor. She said no. She cried, but he didn't take no for an answer. He raped her. He wrote, I could tell I didn't turn you on yesterday. That is, he raped her. Because of the trauma bond after the rape, she met him at a friend's party, then had sex, consensual sex. This was a trauma bond. He had an MO, an hours-long performance. He masturbated and sometimes filmed, just like with Jay. Sometimes the defendant told escorts to urinate on her. Sometimes he urinated himself. Why? To turn himself on. She began drug addiction. I forgot about the pissing. Because I was wondering, like, when they said the bodily fluids on the ground, I was like, yeah, that had to be the piss. He was inspired by R. Kelly. She began drug addiction. Here she wrote, I love our freak-offs when we both want it. Jurors, this is not an all or nothing situation. Yes, it is. There were times he knew she didn't want to do it. That is sex trafficking. She obviously didn't want to have an escort urinate in her mouth, yet she did it while she lay on the floor. Let's talk about the videos. You've seen clips. You don't see weapons. You see her having sex, masturbating. The defendant is moving the camera, so they was watching the flicks. The defendant is moving the camera around, at times focusing on the escort, not Cassie at all. It's clear this is about his fantasy, not Cassie's. March 5th, 2016, in the Intercontinental Hotel. Dang, Diddy, you was focusing on the escort? Before the Intercontinental Hotel, Cassie had a premiere. It was a big night for her. She agreed to a freak off as damage control. Look at this. She says, I don't want you thinking I don't want to. She knows the defendant won't take no for an answer. The defendant gets Jules to come. You know what happens in argument. The defendant hits Cassie in the face. All she can think about is her premiere. She takes off without her shoes. He throws her to the ground. He kicks her, then drags her back to the room where Jules is waiting. Why is the dragging relevant? Because Jules is there. Freak-offs have multiple sessions. They were between sessions. He leaves her, but he takes her bags, but she doesn't follow him. Instead, Cassie is using the phone in the elevator lobby. The defendant is making another conscious decision to take the bags into the room, then come back for Cassie with his hands free. He grabs her phone, then makes the decision to stay. He stays even though he's in a towel and looks ridiculous. After Flores arrives, he stalls in the hall. He knows Jules is still in the room, possibly naked. The defense claims he took back drugs that day, but you can see he is in control. Cassie just wanted to get her bag and phone and leave. The defendant offered Flores money. This is a photo of Jane in the car, back to her house with sunglasses, her black eye. He is using force to get Cassie to continue with the freak off. The defense may tell you the violence was not connected to the sex, but it was an attempt to get Cassie to continue with the freak off. Later, she wrote to him, "I'm not a rag doll. I'm someone's child." There were freak offs in New York with Daniel Phillip. Daniel Phillip was not paid for his time. This is a ridiculous argument. In one freak off between sessions, the defendant told Cassie to come in the bedroom. She kept using the computer. The defendant threw a bottle, dragged her, then slapped her. Daniel Phillip heard Combs yell, "Bitch, when I tell you to come here, you come here." After that, Daniel Phillip could not perform, but a completed act is not required for sex trafficking. This is sex trafficking. Canes, they were at the film festival. The defendant accused Cassie of stealing his drugs. He threw her off the boat they were staying on. Mia heard an audio of this, recognized the voices. They flew back to New York. She traded seats to get away, but he followed and showed her freak-off videos. He threatened to release sex tapes when they got to New York. They had a freak-off. This is another example of clear-cut coercion. He threw her off a boat without her passport. He wanted Cassie to be afraid to say no to him. Cassie said, "I didn't know what no would mean, what no would turn into. He could be violent." The defense said Cassie made a choice every day to stay with him. Step back. Imagine yourself as Cassie. This was the force. This was the leverage. There were the drugs, disassociative and numbing. She needed that buffer. Yes, some of the messages were explicit. That doesn't mean she wanted to have sex with an escort at freak-offs in 2009. He wrote, "You're supposed to be seducing me all day." Cassie told the defendant she didn't want to do freak-offs. Take her birthday party Deontay told you about. He demanded she freak off, and she did. What choice did Cassie have in the end? She did not have the freedom to make voluntary adult choices. Son of a bitch. Let's go back to count one for a minute. Why was the defendant in the freak-offs? But he had help from KK, D-Rock, Fahim. They knew it was wrong. How did they facilitate? KK got strange men access to rooms the defendant Cassie shared. KK got Clayton, Howard, Dave access to the room. Jonathan Perez found the video of Cassie having sex with the escort. He showed it to KK. She knew. Fahim saw it too. Fahim got drugs to the defendant even during the freak-offs between sessions. None of these people are being charged, though, just Diddy. On February 18th, 2024, after Jane told KK still sent stuff for Wild King nights. D-Rock iced Cassie's black eye. It would be absurd to think D-Rock didn't know what they were doing. Of course he knew. I expect the defense will say they didn't know. David James saw a stranger. Deontay Nash saw one. Jonathan Perez saw a video of Jane having sex with another man while the defendant watched. Interstate travel for prostitution. The defendant paid escorts. He caused the travel. He sometimes booked it. The women booked it and the women paid, but they ain't being charged. The transportation counts do not require force, fraud, or coercion. Even if all consented, we know that's not true. It's still a crime. It's just knowing transportation with the intent. And Gabe, I don't know what you're talking about. Let me drop the link. I don't know what you're talking about, but you know I don't like being trolled, and I'm very direct. So, because I seen you said something of the sort under a video the other day, like, where's this guy? I don't know what you mean. Oh, you in there talking. Oh, you having one of your episodes. All right. Apparently, you're not the one over yourself. You still want to beef about some old shit. But have a nice life, Gabe. Have a nice life, sir. I tried. The transportation counts do not require force, fraud, or coercion, even if it's all consented. And even with 14, I still got more in my check than you. I can't believe you came in and tried that shit. I still got more in my check than you, sir. How about you get off the? How about you start? How about you start? How about you be consistent? I understand you going through some shit, but bro, you got me fucked up. Anywho, I guess that's the moment you were looking for. It's just what the fuck was that? The transportation counts do not require force, fraud, or coercion. Even if all consented, we know that's not true. It's still a crime. It's just knowing transportation with the intent, the individual engaged in prostitution. For count 3, freak-offs involving Cassie, the escort's travel was often booked by travel agents. She remembered Dave, Clayton Howard. He would travel from New York to Miami or LA. Another escort traveled to Ibiza, GX 1402. And then I've been noticing you being on your moral high ground shit too, talking about, well, what people did in their past. Well, what did you do in your past when you was with the shitty gang? See, motherfuckers be forgetting about their goddamn past and want motherfuckers to forget about that and forgive them, but then they have a problem doing the same shit to other people. Anyway, I'm not addressing you anymore, sir. Good. Have a great life. This was Jules Theodore at the London Hotel in New York City. The defendant asked for Jules' name for the ticket. The defendant's American Express showed he paid for a car. There's the $2,000 bill from the London Hotel. The defendant texts, I will tip you. For what? Sex. For this incident alone, the defendant is guilty under count 3, but there's more. More jewels at the London Hotel starting at 7 a.m. Consider this. Paul going to Turks. The defendant says, how should I pay? He paid for Paul's travel to Turks for sex. Here, Reggie flew from Las Vegas to LA for sex. He is never tired. Jane sent $1,100 via Cash App. Here's the hotel folio, $4,000 of damage. The hotel staff found bodily fluids on the floor. It couldn't be clearer. Now, that falls back on the assistants. How come they ain't, again, mopped that shit up or soaked the shit up with the sheets? They dropped the ball on that one. Every time KK helped arrange travel for Wild King Night, she was part of the crime. She may not have liked it, but she did it. KK set up travel for a Wild King Night in Vegas. Combs' voice, the wildest King Night in Vegas. KK knows. KK helped Cabral book his travel. Combs asked for her cash. She knows exactly what is going on. She facilitated travel for the escorts. Each is a racketeering act. You only need to find 2 acts. Just here, there are dozens. Afternoon break? Okay. And they taking a break, and I'm taking one too. Leah and them, I would say I'm lost in the sauce, but I guess I'm not. He's still in his feelings about him having a problem with John, Frank, and Gears, and I don't. He still can't get over that they said he was racist, but y'all know what Gabe has never done? He has never said, you know what? That might not have been the best thing for me to say, and I apologize for it. Gabe has never done that. When it first happened, Gabe and Joy both lied to me about it. That's how I knew the shit was fucked up, when they felt the need to lie that it even occurred. Because motherfuckers was hitting me up. They wasn't bothering them initially. They was hitting me up about what was said, saying what was going on. And I stood by Gabe through that shit. And Gabe is upset that I'm not upset that John, Frank, and Gears called him a racist. And he ain't got over it, and I guess that's what it is. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. But he came in here trying to joke, ha ha ha, you got as many as me, but he ignored last night. He gonna ignore the 150 that was in there last night. He turned into one of the ops. That pretty much. I'm not giving, like, again, I've been around Gabe enough. He does this shit all the time. And at some point, you just have to say, no mas. I'm not giving the bipolar pass no more. I understand he going through shit with his pops, but even still, nigga, I ain't come fucking with you. You came over here disrespecting me. I didn't come looking for you, nigga. You walked in my shit to say that. Nigga, you seek to this is no different than what the fuck Urban did. Because guess what? You got my number. You ain't text me none of this shit. You ain't call me and say none of this shit. You typed it in the chat for everybody on YouTube to be able to see it. And sir, I no longer respect you. Kiss my ass, suck my dick, fuck you. You just like these bitches and these bitch ass niggas. It's the same shit they did on their way out. You could, I guess you just like the black bitches you be trying to shade because you went out just like them. You had to be seen, sir. But once again, I'm gonna repeat to you, what you never said was, I probably shouldn't have said that. But you thought you were fucking Tommy. Only thing is Tommy's black and he gets backlash for saying it. You didn't think your Mexican Filipino ass would get backlash for it? And I rolled with you through it, even though you never apologized, even though you never said it was wrong. I rode with you. And this is the hill you want to die on? Because don't forget, nigga, you came to me like a hoe talking about some, I've never asked for anything, but this is the one thing. You can't be cool with Gears and John Frank. Bro, kiss my ass. I'm 42 years old. You're not going to make me be mad at motherfuckers because you got a problem. I gave you the opportunity to talk to this man on the panel who you was constantly talking shit about in the chat, and I was telling you, bro, stop, because when they fire your ass up, they'll be justified. What you do? You got up on the panel and froze up. Then that's never happened to me. I ain't never had a problem with a motherfucker was on the panel with them and froze up and said, I can't do this. But you want to come in and question me? Boy, stop, nigga, boy, stop. That's all I'm gonna say, nigga. Like you brought Mookie in. Shut the fuck up. Get over yourself. Nigga, create a self outside of me, motherfucker. When Judge Submarania asked USA Slavic how much more time she has, she said 1 hour. All rise. I expect the judge will instruct you on forced labor. You heard of forced labor of 4 women, Cassie and Jane and Mia and Capricorn. Cassie and Jane, it was grueling sexual services. Cassie called them grueling, up to 4 days, maybe even more. Jane said the same thing. Cassie and Jane were on call to perform freak-offs for the defendant whenever he wanted, wherever he wanted. He's used to force or threats of force. He would say, let's finish on a high note. Let's push through. You're not tired, are you? It took weeks to recover for these freak-offs. That's forced labor. KK kept setting up hotel rooms and flights. Let's turn to Mia. She worked for Combs. Finally, it revoked. She went 5 days without sleep. Combs sexually assaulted her. He put his hands up her dress. He came into her bedroom and penetrated her. He came into the closet and forced her to perform oral sex on him. There was a time in the bathroom of the private jet she can't fully remember. Repeated traumatic events. Hey, nigga, you gay. Next time Truth is live, bring your ass on her panel and say that shit in my face, nigga. So we can have a neutral panel so you won't feel like you being muted or blocked down. Bring your tough ass up and say that shit in my face. She was clear as a bell, even under cross-examination. She performed labor and services, including sexual services. He threw her against the wall and slammed the door on her arm. She saw violence at Prince Party and on Turks. When they were in South Africa, KK told Mia, if you don't call him in 10 minutes, you don't have a job. He has all the power and control. She knew she couldn't say no, even the little things. Mia knew that her job was to protect the defendant. HR was for Combs. She couldn't go to the police due to Combs' power. Son of a bitch, I knew they was going to say it. How come she couldn't? Kid Cudi went to the motherfucking police. She had video and everything. What the fuck? The threats left her with no options. I expect you're going to hear that she could have left. That she told Combs she loved him. Mia pulled no punches. There were high highs and low lows. Capricorn Clark had an issue with overtime. She took the issue to head of HR, Vasta Wilson, but HR was the defendant's puppet. The defendant and Uncle Polly threatened her in Central Park and the lie detector and taking the Kid Cuddies. Capricorn had a son to provide for. Combs threatened to blacklist her, now witness tampering and obstruction after Cassie filed her lawsuit. This weaves the whole story together. Jane wrote, you gaslit me. She posed a problem for the defendant. So Combs called Jane. The calls were recorded on KK's phone. You can listen to them. November 19th, 2023. Cassie's lawsuit was already settled, but he is afraid of a criminal investigation. He calls and asks, what can I do to make you feel better? He says, I can't be speaking on the phone. He is worried the U.S. will get 3 years of his text messages with Jane while he's recording the call. He tries to convince her she was willing. He says, we just did some kinky shit I thought we both enjoyed. Do you hear on the recorded call the sound of notes being taken with a Sharpie to plan how to get what they want Jane to say? You've seen that in this trial. The lawyers passing notes to each other. Do you hear on the recorded call the sound of notes being taken with a Sharpie? Why did it say that twice? What the fuck? Yeah, this is twice. Then Mr. Combs had D-Rock reach out to Mia, asking her to say something. Mia told you her reaction to this call. She had seen the defendant bash in Cassie's head. D-Rock had seen it too. He was asking her to agree with the lie. As the federal investigation grew, they kept reaching out to Mia. D-Rock's called her 5 times in a row. The chart Miss Sanker presented to you bring this together. For those wondering, here's how Combs' family looks in the courtroom. That's his mama. I could definitely see Janice Combs with the white. Okay, and the family in full force. There's a random white lady in the back. The defendant's conduct towards also obstruction. The video of the intercontinental assault is bribery, but also obstruction. Finally, venue. We only have to show an act in this district. Doesn't have to be criminal. SDNY includes Manhattan and the Bronx. Count 2, freak offs to Manhattan. Count 3, freak offs, Jules to the London Hotel in Manhattan. Count 4, Jane in Manhattan. You spent 7 weeks listening. A lot of evidence was hard to hear or see. You heard from Kid Cudi, whose house was broken into and whose car was burned. You heard from Regina Ventura, Deontay Nash, how he ran the enterprise with total control. It's time to hold him accountable. It's time to find him guilty. We'll continue tomorrow, jurors. Don't watch or read anything about the case. Adjourn. How much time? Where am I at in time? Yeah, sir. Yeah. You should have had that. You ain't had that much motherfucking mouth for gears when you was on the panel with him. You don't come in my chat typing that weak ass shit as if you couldn't get blocked. Nigga, you have crossed the motherfucking line. I don't know who the fuck you think I am, but you talking about bring him back. I am, bro. I didn't change because I ain't trying to be the asshole. I don't know what the fuck you want from me. I don't kiss no grown ass men asses, sir. I got 2 females that throw hissy fits at me all the goddamn time and give me attitudes. I'm not putting up with it from no grown ass man on YouTube. Get over yourself, nigga. As you told me, get over yourself. Apparently, you think you more than what you are. I'm not gonna go in too hard or none of that, but you came to me with the fuck shit. I'm sure somebody got the shit screenshotted. I hate that. Let me see if can I go back. I need to screenshot the shit myself. Let me see if I can find these goddamn comments. I don't believe this motherfucker tried me. Nigga, 17 people in your chat would be a world record. Fuck you mean? He tried it. And you talking shit to me on a channel with 50 motherfucking subs. Nigga, did you ever get to 300 subs? But I guess that was my fault too. Now nigga crazy as a motherfucker. Now, what I don't was that he been in his feeling for a minute, but I thought again a motherfucker I feel like he would get over. He actually he ain't been around my chat. He ain't been in my damn chat. So that's what I'm saying. Like when he did this tonight, this was him, I guess, doing like everybody else, letting it be known when he was done fucking with me when he could have just texted me. But I kind of knew anyway because he ain't been around. I don't trip. I ain't chasing no niggas. I'm not chasing no niggas at all. I have not done a live because Gabe ain't there. Give a damn who in the chat. I can't. This motherfucker, him. This nigga said, you got 14 in the chat. Nigga, what? What? Really? You go live. You go live. And let's see how many people show up. You can even at me and say you finna roast me and still see how many people show up. Well, Miss B, I was reading the tweets. I was reading the Diddy trial tweets, and then I had looked up and seen Gabe type, I get why I suck, but goddamn, we're on the same level, less than 20. What's your excuse? Where your boys? I guess he was asking where Gears and John Frank and them are. Come home, Mark. Nobody gives a shit, dude. ... Nobody cares. That's why you got 14 in here. Get over yourself. Sir, I don't need, what do you mean? Where are my boys? I don't need, what the fuck is wrong with you? Where are my boys? Nigga, it's YouTube. It's YouTube. But again, just like the ops, he conveniently ignored the 150 that was in here last night. I don't have time for these people. He forgetting that the people that was in here when Chelsea. When I did the Chelsea video, I don't get it. Oh, whatever, man. I guess we'll see Gabe over there with Helmet Head in them. Man, are you next? Because you ain't been around neither. And I noticed both of y'all popped out too. Just go on, give me the heads up now. Just go on, give me the heads up now. Are you next? All right, y'all. Until the next episode, we out. But yeah, Gabe, definitely. Next time Truth is Live, I would like you to pull up on a link and say everything you just typed in my chat to my face so I can actually respond. Because, nigga, you know when I'm reading fucking tweets, I'm not looking at my goddamn chat. It just so happened I was doing something different when I happened to notice, and I was like, oh, let me see. And if I'm not mistaken, when he came in my chat earlier, yesterday, whatever the fuck the last time I was live, yesterday. Yeah, he was last night. He came in and I hit him with the gate. He was mad that whole time. Because again, you could have texted me, my guy, but you wanted this public display, much like Urban did when he left, so you got it. Fuck you, sir. Anywhere I'm at where you ain't got no wrench and I see you, I'm blocking you. Cause definitely you fired the first shot at me. So anywhere that I got a wrench that you don't, and I see you, you getting the fuck up out of there. Now let's see who on the same playing field, you little Filipino. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Now he bleeding, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit. All my niggas wildin', they done labeled us a misfit. Wake up every morning, 2 or 3, 5 in the thick bitch. Oh shit, didn't nobody come to see you old, it's some focus. Shoot 100 shots, no reloaded. Master of the game, you would think I'm into coded. Memphis niggas spit this pippin', mackin' like I'm golden. Ho, with my money, you gon' turn me to the old me. Stay high, first class flight, I'm in the nosebleed. Copy, cooking, whipping, shipping, till you count the proceeds. OG, I've been moving back niggas since 03. Low key, niggas hating, but they don't want no beef. State gang, true sippers, bitch, I bet we gon' eat. Get jammed, get a lawyer, make it burn, don't speak. Pour up, oh, I need some more. A nigga had a long week. Shout out to my plug, he showed me love, he out in Long Beach. I'm true geek, walking by myself but left with 2 freaks. Fool me, nothing in they mouth and on they booty. Austin Power swag, yeah baby, this is groovy. You can call me Money Boy or you can call me Nudie. Hood niggas, churches, chicken, let me get a 2-piece. Top down, 2-seater, let me feel the 2 breathe. Gotta hold it steady, chopper, kick it back like Bruce Lee. Lately I've been in the zone, I guess I'm in my 2-3. Don't call my phone for nothing less than a QP. Feeling like the Migos, cause my bitch is bad and bougie. All my haters love me, all these bitches just some groupies. Came a long way, I like to introduce the new me. Standing on business like I'm king or like I'm Drewski. Call me Ron Island cause I like my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. Call me Run Island cause I let my lover choose it. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Gucci. She dancing just like Suki. I never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 Limp Biscuit.